Hello and welcome to MoneyTalk by BOV in collaboration with Times of Malta. My name is James Cummings and today we're here to talk about something called financial freedom. We're here to understand what this is, how do you achieve it and why it's important. And to talk to us about that is Claire Falzon. Hi Claire.
Hi.
Hi. So let's start off by giving us a broad overview of what is financial freedom.
Well, first and foremost, financial freedom is a concept that many people aim to achieve. Why? At its core, financial freedom is about being able to make the day-to-day choices that are not constrained by financial limitations.
Right.
It's about having enough savings and investments to allow you the lifestyle that you would like for yourself and for your family. So basically, it's about being able to plan in a way that you can live your life without being constantly worried about expenses.
Right.
So I think it's an important factor for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And people always like freedom, and obviously financial freedom is something probably a lot of people do aspire to. And I guess the kind of obvious thing therefore is maybe how can people kind of go about, doing this? What kind of approaches can they use? Like what's the best way to get towards this? Because yeah, it sounds pretty good for most people, I think,
First and foremost, I think it's worth saying that some people might think it's not achievable, but it's definitely achievable for everyone, I must say. But it starts with the right mindset and with the right support. So that may mean starting with small goals, being consistent, and above all, being smart with your money. So that looks like sometimes we have to rethink how we save, how we spend, how to plan ahead.
Right.
Maybe to mention a few elements which would really help you move towards financial freedom would be financial planning is a very important one, budgeting and spending control, and also regularly saving and investing a small portion of your income.
Okay. So maybe it's best, because obviously there's a few different things in there. Maybe it's best we kind of go through those one by one. Okay. So the first one you mentioned there, financial planning. I mean, I guess it kind of says what it is on the tin in a way, but obviously, this is something I know that's a specialty of yours. So thinking about it maybe in a bit more depth, what does that mean to people? And yeah.
Financial planning is basically planning for those events in life which will have a financial impact on your life. So it could be planning to build an emergency fund, planning to purchase your first home, or planning for your retirement. They can all be part of your financial plan, all equally important. So if you have a financial plan, you have an aim, a goal, you have a vision which is clear, and you can move towards that vision. If you don't have a plan, it's very difficult to move towards something.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of interesting there what you mentioned about the fact that there's different things that people might want to, kind of go towards, right? And this kind of maybe relates to something that has come up in other sessions of this as well, where we've talked about different financial personalities and things like this. Okay, so on to the next thing, which I think was budgeting, right? And obviously this is something people kind of instinctively know about and everyone kind of tries to do. But, what can you tell us about that from a sort of, professional standpoint?
So budgeting and spending control is a way that you budget how you will spend your salary or income, and that allows you to make sure that you are living within your means and therefore avoid overspending, which is important to grow your wealth. And on to the next would be regular savings and investment, which would be possible through budgeting. As Warren Buffett famously said, do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. And that is what budgeting and spending control enables us to do.
Really? Yeah, that's really interesting. I think a lot of people, like myself included, have had that approach maybe, with money before, where you kind of think about that last. I mean, is it worth kind of people, doing something that maybe sounds a bit boring to people as well, just sitting down and maybe with a pen and paper and actually just making, sort of really planning this?
That is literally what someone has to do.
Right, I see.
So sit down, old style pen and paper, for
Yeah.
whatever it is for everyone. And you write it down, you think over, because just taking it as it comes, you will never get to the saving part or to, achieving your goals. Because some goals we can achieve because they are within the spending power of, within a salary spending power. But some other goals are longer term, and it will take longer savings to get there.
Really. Now, you mentioned something before. You mentioned this thing about sort of regular saving, and that in some ways, to me, it kind of even ties in with what we just talked about, right? Because if people are maybe not planning, maybe it's something that's a bit of an afterthought. And, I certainly have had it. For anyone watching at home, I've certainly had it before where I thought, okay, this month I'm going to save, but then maybe something happens or I get a bit lax and it doesn't happen or what have you. And then, So talk to us about this idea of sort of regular saving, which I guess ties in with planning, okay? And how important is that, rather than just saying, oh, I'll do it when I think about it,
No, it's very important. And if you manage to automate that automatically a part of your savings go through an investment automatically or to your savings, where you don't withdraw from, that will help with the discipline because it's just done, at the start of the month. So that will surely be something which is helpful.
Really? So it's kind of almost, I guess, kind of like approaching it like paying your bills or paying your, your rent or your mortgage or your car payments and whatever. So it's just done at the start and then you see what you have left to play with. Okay, so, I mean, look, that all sounds kind of good and sensible and what have you. And, but I think it's fair to say, isn't it, that sometimes people struggle with that. I know I have in the past, people I know, and that whole thing of being regular and budgeting and what have you. So what are some of the challenges that people, face, apart from maybe themselves and, just kind of,
There are a number of challenges, which may be lack of financial education and awareness, sometimes some bad financial habits, such as overspending. A lack of financial plan is another one. But I think the good news is that you don't have to do it alone. You can get support.
Right.
For example, at Bank of Valletta, we see this as a real opportunity to make a difference in people's lives. So case in point, the bank has recently opened 2 new financial well-being centers where we mean to equip our customers with the right tools, with the right knowledge to make informed decisions when thinking about their financial journey. We also offer personalized financial advice, which is very important because everyone's objectives, everyone's goals would be different to each other. So getting personalized advice would ensure that you're on the fastest track to your financial freedom.
Okay.
We also offer a holistic range of products which can support the customer at any life stage that you are in. So whether you're a student, a young family, planning for your retirement, you can get support. Okay? So, but above all, we listen. We listen because every customer has their story, and we are here to support their journey.
So talking about listening, and maybe there are people listening to this who think, a lot of the concepts we're discussing today they probably agree they're important. They think, yes, I can see why this would be good to go to, and maybe they kind of want to do it, but maybe they also feel that it's kind of unrealistic, that it's out of reach a little bit. Like, what would you say to those people?
Well, I would say that while financial freedom may seem daunting at the outset, it is achievable in reality for everyone. Again, with the right mindset, with the right support. So the best thing you can do is to just get in touch, talk to us. That would be your first step. And above all, don't give up. Remember that financial freedom is a journey, not a destination. So every little step that you take in the right direction will help you towards achieving financial freedom.
Okay, great. Thank you, Claire. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to those of you watching at home. This was Money Talk by BOV in collaboration with Times of Malta. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.